Okay, so listen, thanks for joining at 6. Normally I'm just gonna kind of let people trickle in, I think, and I know it's just such a lovely evening, and I don't really want to keep you guys for any longer than is necessary. Um, and I also kind of think probably the most important bit of this will be at the end. So obviously, I'm sure many of you will have known me from previous forums, but I'm Mr. Maiden. I'm the head of year. We've got, sorry, excuse me. We've got Miss Begum here, who is the deputy head of sixth form, and we will have at some point Colsuma, if she's not already here. I can't see everyone who's here, who's our pastoral assistant. Okay, so what I'm going to do today, I'm just going to go through some exam stuff, actually, let you know what the expectations are. This kind of complements an email that I've already sent. So you've basically got all this information on an email, which you should have received today. I might talk around a couple of the topics. We're going to briefly talk about kind of accepting UCAS and just a couple of deadlines around there. And then I think I'm just going to try and get to the end because I'm imagining maybe it might be more useful to have a Q&A rather than me just going over stuff that you guys will have received in an email. So obviously it's a really stressful time. As a year group in school, we see kids, some people are struggling, but generally the year group is coping pretty well. It's of course an enormous amount of pressure, and I do hope that your young people are okay and doing okay at home. And it's just a couple of months now, and then it'll all be over. So just a quick thing on study leave. I sent out an email a while ago, but it starts on the 17th of May. So that's next Friday. It's the last official day of school. However, teachers will be in their timetabled room. So if you're getting frustrated with your sons, daughters, then you can send them into school and their teachers will be there, and their teachers will be there to, on the times that we would have lessons, and they could be there to assist them, give them revision activities, that kind of time. So it's likely to be very quiet, a good chance to get sort of one-to-one feedback with their teachers. That will last until the last exam in a particular subject. The sixth form is also open every day until 7 p.m. That's a very quiet time as well. Every day except Friday, where it closes at 6 p.m. And we have a rota of quiet study rooms with Colsuma. It's kind of, there's not been much take up, so they've been sort of done by request, really. But there's some rooms during the day, sort of periods 3 and 4, which is quiet study as well. I know it's been in a bit of an issue with Stoke Newington Library not being open, which has not been great timing. A few things to know before the exam. Students have been given a hard copy of their timetables. Now, we've been telling them to take a photo of that timetable, so they've got like a photo and save it on their favorites. It would be great for all of you to familiarize yourself with your timetables. Like, obviously, anyone can look up an exam online, but sometimes it's confusing. For example, I teach politics, and the AS and the A-level politics exams, it's very easy to get them mixed up. It's very easy to turn out to the wrong exam. So please, you'll have a personalized timetable. Please go by that. And if parents know that as well, I'm sure many of you do, but that's really, really important. Pay special attention to whether it's AM or PM exams. We always get kids that we have to, call home and they're like, what, you got an exam? What? And they, so please get across that. For AM exams, sorry, it says year, this was a presentation to students. Students will need to be in by 8:30, and for PM exams by 1 p.m. Now, obviously, we don't advertise this. The exams will start after that, but we want them in by that time. That gives us time to get them into the exam hall so the exams can start on time. So that's 8:30 and 1 p.m. Students must write in black ink. I've got a bit of a scare story from our exams officer that actually the exam boards, I mean, they'd have to be pretty cruel, but they can just send papers back. So if a student's been scribbling away in blue ink and no one's noticed, they can just go, we're not marking this, which seems a bit extreme to me, but the exam boards, our exams officers have asked for that in particular, so please make sure. In the exam hall, it's the warm weather's thankfully with us. We want no jackets, no hoodies, no hats at all on the head. You will be there'll be posters around the school so students will know what to look for. They need clear pencil cases and clear water bottles, no labels, and no kind of chili bottles, that kind of thing. And no watches of any kind. It doesn't matter if it's like really, really obviously not a smartwatch. Just because we have got an issue with smartwatches now. The JCQ said that you're not allowed any watch in the exam, so it's just the clocks in the exam hall that students have to see. Okay, so during the exams, this is just stuff that, you know, this is not for you, obviously, but if you remind your young people, they must have calculators, must go to, if you know your son or daughter's got an exam, please check that they're going in with a calculator that is one of the ones that's permitted. So that's one that can go into exam mode. No phone should be on a student's person, even a phone that's off if it's discovered on a student's person. And sometimes it's really obvious, it's just an outline of a phone in someone's pocket. That can be a disqualification. So we took it very seriously in the mocks. We obviously now we can be externally moderated as well. So just remind students of that. It just shouldn't be. It should be in their bags. I mean, ideally not even, and it must be off as well. Just so you know, students will not be allowed to go to the toilet in the first hour. If you think that some sort of medical reason why your son, daughter may not be able to sort of last that time, please let us know before the official exam starts, and give us some supporting evidence, and we may be able to see about that. But that's the general rule in without medical evidence. Students should aim. So we all hope that all students will stay the duration, but this is really for them. If a student completely blanked out and, you know, couldn't stay for a whole hour, they would be expected to stay for at least an hour in the exam hall, and then they can leave. But that's really for them, and hopefully that won't be happening. Okay, so that's it for exams, really. I'm sure maybe there'll be some questions, but I'll answer those at the end. And like I say, all of that information is on an email. Most of your young people will have received offers by now. Some late offers may still be coming in, particularly to competitive universities. I know some haven't replied, but I know most have. The vast majority of students will have received
You can just listen.
Sorry, I think someone's got their mic on. Kevin O'Sullivan. Thanks, thank you. Then their reply date will be the 24th of July. Now, these deadlines are really important. They're non-negotiable. So if you don't reply, the universities will. Sorry, the person who's on Kevin O'Sullivan, I think you're unmiked. Hold on, let me just see if I can do anything about that. Okay, yes, I can. Okay, so if you don't respond to those offers by those dates, UCAS will automatically decline all those offers. So it'll be like your son or daughter will have declined all those offers, and they will effectively go into clearing. So please, 6th of June is the deadline for most people. Also, when they log into their account, it will tell them their own personal deadline. So if you're worried, if you're not sure which is which, make sure that those offers are replied to by that date. All right. Secondly, I've talked about this before, but student finance has been open for a couple of months now, and you should do it. It takes at least 6 weeks really for the funds to clear. So you should really start thinking about that now, and potentially you might want to start looking at student accommodation now. It's not too early to look for that kind of stuff. To be honest, that's not my area of expertise. But I know that some students you are able to start at least inquiring about student accommodation. Next, there are prom tickets. The prom tickets are now available. They're up on the ParentPay shop. The ParentPay shop and the hoodies are up there as well. The ParentPay shop looks a little bit like that. You go to this bottom one, it says tickets, and the prom tickets are there, the hoodies are there. And we also have a prom meeting for anyone who wants to help with prom or get involved with prom. There's a meeting with Kothsuma at 3:30 next Tuesday. It's Tuesday the 14th, I believe. Yeah, Tuesday the 14th, after school, and we really welcome parental support. You'll all be invited to a kind of a awards assembly beforehand, and it's just a really nice day. So sure, what more? Yeah, we've got the hoodies there. Right, really, we've got to the kind of questions bit. Yeah, would anyone, I'm sure maybe there's some questions, if you'd like to raise your hand, or sorry, I've got a question there. I can't see the chat actually. How do I see the chat? Got it. Okay. So I've got a few here. Right. I'll just read these out because they may reply to more than one person. What if a young person doesn't know which one the unis they want to get to, or if they get the grades? I remember you discussed about telling them that they want to defer. What's the deadline for that? Okay, there's a few questions in there. I guess that relates to the comments I've just made about student accommodation. I certainly think if you definitely are going to defer a place, you don't need to worry about student accommodation for this year. For for deferred entry, we've had lots of questions about this. It's not a process that happens through UCAS. It's via the individual universities. So most universities are absolutely fine to defer the place. They just need to know, if you can imagine, and they need to know, I would say soon, because from a university's point of view, they wish to know who's coming as soon as possible, because if your son or daughter is not going to take that place, then they're going to want to fill it with someone else. So if you're going to defer entry and you know you're definitely going to do that, I would contact the universities that you want to do that to. So, and you can even at this stage almost kind of game them a little bit. So the universities game our students. So they're like, oh, if you give us a firm place, we'll give you a lower offer. You can kind of go, well, I'll make you a firm place if you can give me a deferred place for next year, and that will often work. It's not guaranteed. It's on a institution by institution basis. And if you haven't applied for deferred entry, if you have applied for the next question is, if you have applied for deferred place in 2025, you don't need to worry yet about student finance, or yeah, lots of these are about so again, as yeah, you don't need to do that until next year. What do students need to let unis know if they want to defer a year? Again, it's by the institution, so you have to email or call up. I would say, I'll probably say call up the admissions teams. You'll find them their contact details for each individual student. And got another question here. Can you talk us through how clearing works? Yes. So I did send out an email, actually. There's a really helpful guide. It's called A Parent's Guide to Clearing. And I can I can actually put it in the chat. It's on UCAS, and it's really sort of user-friendly guide. Clearing, most of clearing is technically open, I think now, and lasts much longer than, past the 15th. No. But it's clearing.
No. Oh, sorry. This one, Mark?
Yeah, I'm just gonna disable that. So clearing, most clearing happens on results day, which is the 15th. So most of the movement is there. That's when students free up places by not getting the grades, and then places become available. So most of the movement is on that day. It's quite stressful. It's not particularly where you want to end up, but you can end up with some really good unis on some really good courses, because what you do is you have to contact the unis directly. You can do that by phone or via email. What this thing opens up in UCAS called, oh gosh, I'm gonna have to, I'll put the guides in the chat. I can't remember what it's called, but there's it's called options or clearing extra or something like that. Anyway, I'll put it in the chat. Lots of opportunities will come up. So you'll put in, oh, I'm interested in doing this kind of course or this kind of course. Lots of them will come up, and you'll be like, okay, and then you'll see something that you think is relevant or attractive to you, and you will say, okay, and you'll contact that uni directly. You'll say, I've got this, this, and this, because you'll know your results by that point, and then the uni will go, fine, we will offer you a place. You make a verbal agreement, or and you put that in as your choice into this particular kind of part of UCAS, and which I can't remember the name of, and they will accept it, and then you're in. Basically, that's what happens. It can be quite smooth, can be quite stressful. I mean, obviously, the best case scenario is that you get the grades and you end up where you want to be. But I will, in a moment, if you'd like to stay, I'll post the it's in a previous email of mine. So if you look, not the email I sent today, but the one before that, there's a link to it, but I'll also post it up here in a second. So does UCAS need to know by June the 6th if it is a deferred place? Now, listen, I can imagine that you probably could defer the place after you've accepted an offer. I imagine that's fine. But I would imagine from a university's point of view, they want to be as sure as possible that, you know, they want to know as soon as possible that they're filling their courses up. So there's no set, when I called up UCAS to ask this question, they said there's no set date, there's no set time, but they will, and it's done on an institution by institution basis. Got another question. My daughter has all of her offers in, but she doesn't have a firm favourite. No, so it's quite, so UCAS, so, or does she say yes to all the offers? You can't say yes to all the offers. You have to choose a firm and a conditional, and you have to be quite sure in that if you get the grades, it's almost like signing a contract. If you get the grades to go to your firm choice, you will go to that firm choice. That's like they will expect you to turn up and study there. Like, you can probably call them up on the day, but that's not really the way it's done. So you have to kind of choose, you have to sort of make that decision now about which is going to be the one that you want to go to, make that your firm, and then you make your conditional, I mean your insurance, the one that you less like to go to. I know it's tricky to make those choices, and in terms of making that choice, it's probably just a case of maybe trying to get there, trying to get to the city for one weekend, maybe see the university, maybe go to an open day. On to the next one. I understand that the school can help with applying with again next year if students decide to completely start again. Yeah, that's absolutely true. So we've got lots of students from last year which we've put through. That's totally fine. They get a reference. That's fine. Did not understand the business of gaming the offers. My son's offers are all high. If he makes one firm, no, that's okay. So that's it's only certain universities who try and they're trying to boost their numbers basically. So higher education is obviously at least partially a business these days. So some students, doesn't sound like your son's from the sound of it, but some students will get a message from a university that will say something like, oh, our course is BBB, but if you give us, if you choose us as our firm choice, because like I explained, the firm choice is almost like a legally binding contract. If you get the grades to go to the firm choice, you will go. If you make us your firm choice, we will give you an offer of BBC or whatever. So that's how the universities are kind of gaming the system a little bit, but it tends not to be. Russell Group tend not to do that. And I was just suggesting that maybe you could If you really wanted to defer and they were being a bit funny about it, you could say, I will definitely make you a firm choice or whatever. Next question, if they choose a uni and they accept a deferred place, if they then change their mind later in the year, can they apply to alternate universities, i.e. start again and turn their original place down? Helen, I'm not sure I totally understand that. If you've deferred, okay, this is what I think you mean, and you can welcome to turn your mic on and explain me if I'm wrong. So if you've chosen a university for a deferred for 2025 entry, you can absolutely decline that place, yeah, and then
Just thought that would be able to work there. I just
Well, it was working. I think you clicked
no,
on.
no. I mean like the laptop version, because because there was a mic, there was a question.
Sorry. Yeah, I think you can absolutely, you can do a whole fresh UCAS application for next year. So you could decline all your offers and then just apply again next year, same deadline. It will be the end of January 2025, and you can do it all again, but you would have to make a new form. What if students don't make the grades? Well, they usually go into clearing. Some students will, some universities will accept a grade or two lower, but that you will know in the morning of the I think you'll know if you've been accepted or declined. I think it'll say on your UCAS form in the morning, because actually the A-level grades go to the universities the day before. I think I'm right, Miss. Am I right in that? I think I'm right. Can you give a guidance strategy to defer a year? You have to call up the institutions you want to go to. Call them up or email them. It's not done through UCAS. Deferring is not done through UCAS. Who should we contact about a reference for next year's UCAS application? You can contact Colsuma or the head of year 13 for next year, which is Mr. Whitaker, or just the school directly, just the sixth form team in the school, and we'll point you in the right direction. We've got, what is a contextual offer? Some universities offer, if you're from a particular type of school, a particular postcode, or you come from a particular background. It depends. Again, this is a uni by uni case basis. It's not UCAS, it's the institutions themselves. They might offer you a lower offer. So it's like kind of positive discrimination, I suppose. That's what it is. There's no, you have to go on individual universities' websites to find out what their contextual offers are. Normally, it's just a case of putting your postcode in. But that's why also they do ask you stuff on the UCAS form, like, are you a care leaver and things like that. That's okay, Helen. Do not worry about him being indecisive. So there will be staff at the school on the 15th to support with clearing. There will be staff here. Yeah. Could you put up the slide again, which was the after the before the exam slide? Hold on, let me go back. It was after, so this is before the exam, and you want the next slide, is that right? I think you want the next slide. Okay, if my son can't be there on results day, will he see his grades on the UCAS website? No problem, Nico. Do you know what? I don't know, actually. Miss, could you help with this one?
Yeah, I can answer this one. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you fine. Hear you fine, yeah.
The internet's glitching a little bit. So what your son or daughter needs to do is email Mr. Belnevin, head of year, and we will actually have to post them to you. Or you can assign somebody to pick them up for you, but there will be an email that goes out. I think we'll probably send the email out beginning of July or end of June, sorry, after the exams, and you need to fill out a form to let us know who will pick it up, And if you can't find anyone to pick it up, we will post it to you. So Richard, just nudge Mr. Bell Nevin about that email, and we can send that out at the end of June.
Thank you very much. Yeah, great. Okay, we're running out of questions on the chat here. Can I help anyone with anything else? Genuinely, I have to say, since we got quite a few of the parents together, it's a really, do you know what? It's actually a really lovely year group. We did a year group photo, which is not kind of a formal thing like they do in lots of schools, but we kind of did it informally at the suggestion of one of the students. I don't know if Ruby's parents are here, but it was at her suggestion, and it was really lovely to have them all together. They're a really warm, friendly, cohesive group. Yes, there's some nerves, but they really are handling things pretty well, I think. And I'm really hopeful that the exams are going to go well, and that it's, you know, the whole thing's going to be kind of smooth. you may have different you're seeing a different picture at home, but at school it seems okay. Kids are working hard, and it seems pretty good. Just got a couple more. Yes, the university will know the grades. Yes, the universities know the grades, but I think all you see on UCAS is whether you've been accepted or not. So in the morning, it's kind of a bit of a spoiler, really. You can log into your UCAS portal and you can see whether you've been accepted or rejected, but you don't know the actual grades. So you might guess at your grades because you're like, oh, you know, this was my offer, you know, I had an offer for CCC and I've been declined, so you're going to know, okay, well, whatever I got is less than CCC, but you don't actually know. And you don't actually know how many you get on your results slip. You get the raw marks, so you'll be able to see how close you were to grade boundaries and things like that. So, and whether it's worth you know, potentially trying to get a remark, you know, if you're very close, stuff like that. Okay. Yeah, we are going to get the photo out to you. We don't know how yet. We're just we're trying to work on that. We'd like people to have hard copies, actually, because that's just, it's a nice thing, isn't it? What time do they come to school on the 15th? Miss, you might be able to, I think it's quite early. I think it's from 8, but I might be wrong. It might be 9 o'clock. Miss, do you want to come in on that? I can't remember from last year.
Yeah, so we will send you guidance closer to the time. Don't worry, but it will be around 8 or 9 o'clock. Last year it was 9 o'clock. And we should be doing the same, but we will ask students to come in their form groups. So whichever form is allocated. So then it's not a big rush, but they'll be at various times.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, we have had questions about the clock. I think exams have invested in a large digital clock which goes at the front, because deeply saddening. I think this is probably not you lot, but lower down the school they were like, well, we can't read analog clocks. But so we yeah, we've got a large digital clock now, but I will share your concern with exams team as well. So okay, any further questions? Great. Well, listen, I really appreciate you giving up a bit of time to come and yeah, what's a really lovely evening, and yeah, thanks for coming. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and yeah, fingers crossed for this next period. Oh yeah. Oh, Nico, that's a great question. Actually, we are setting up an alumni thing. Mr. Bell Nevin is on that, and I can't remember how it's happening. I think we're getting a sort of bank of stuff. Yeah. Thank you. Gosh, Miss, we should have asked about the career speed dating where we had everyone here, shouldn't we? You'll get an email if you want to come in and talk about to any of our year 12s about your career. You'll see an email from me soon. So look out for that. Fantastic.
I think someone asked about, are you going to send the slides? But I think you mentioned at the beginning
everything on the slide was in the email that I sent out earlier today. So so you've not really missed anything.
Yeah, and I don't think we didn't record the meeting either, did we?
Yeah, there is a recording. But if you
there is a
recording. It's probably there is a recording. It's recording actually. It'll get sent out. I think a link gets sent out. I'd probably rather skim an email than listen to 40 minutes of me talking. But
Nico
that's
mentioned
great, actually.
Yeah, your
eldest son, a graduate. Yeah, sounds great, Nico. Fantastic.
Please drop us an email about that, and we can sort that out then.
That's great. Thank you. Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Excellent. I will, since a lot of people have left now, I'll put the parents' guide to clearing. I think I'll send that out separately.
And maybe just finish the recording as well.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, I might just close this down. I think that's it. So is that all right?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to rush off as well, if that's all right, Mr. Maiden.
Yeah, I've got to, yeah. Okay,
right,
thanks
thank
again.
you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
See you. Bye.
Take care now. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.